Robin Williams could do 100 voices in 60 seconds. He could make you laugh until your sides hurt, then break your heart in the same scene. He was cocaine and chaos turned into art, then tenderness and tragedy we never saw coming. Most comedians stay in their lane. Robin Williams didn't have a lane. He had a 10-lane highway, and he was driving in all of them at once. From Mork, from Ork, to Mrs. Doubtfire, to Good Will Hunting, Williams didn't just reshape comedy. He blurred the line between funny and devastating so completely that we're still trying to figure out where one ended and the other began. This is the story of a man who ran at 10,000 RPM for 40 years, gave us some of the most memorable performances in cinema history, and left us asking how someone who made the whole world laugh could be hurting so badly himself. Let's talk about Robin Williams. Robin Williams started doing stand-up in San Francisco in the mid-1970s, but calling what he did stand-up is like calling a hurricane some wind. The man was a supernova on stage, stream of consciousness improv, 100 characters, voices exploding out of him like he was possessed by the entire population of Earth. And yes, there was cocaine, a lot of it. Williams was open about this later. The 70s and early 80s comedy scene was fueled by it, and Williams was running hotter than anyone. The energy wasn't just manic, it was superhuman. You watch his early stand-up, and you think, there's no way a human nervous system can sustain this. Then came Mork and Mindy in 1978. They gave him a sitcom about an alien, which was perfect because Williams already seemed like he was from another planet. The show was a hit, and suddenly America knew his name. But here's the thing. They couldn't contain him even in a scripted show. He'd riff, improvise, go completely off script, and the writers just started writing Mork does his thing into the scripts because trying to predict what Williams would do was impossible. He was chaos, beautiful, brilliant chaos, but chaos can't last forever, and Williams was smart enough to know it. The early 80s were rough. Williams was successful, but burning out. John Belushi died in 1982. Williams had been with him that night, and it shook him. He got sober, he got serious, and he started making very different choices. Good Morning Vietnam. In 1987 was the pivot point. They let Williams improvise his radio DJ scenes, all that manic energy channeled into something with actual weight. A comedy about war, a character who uses humor as armor. It was Robin Williams playing Robin Williams, except now there was depth underneath. He got his first Oscar nomination. Then came Dead Poets Society in 1989. John Keating. Oh Captain, My Captain. The teacher who inspires students to seize the day, to think differently, to feel deeply. Williams was still funny, still energetic, but now there was this tenderness, this genuine emotional vulnerability. You believed he cared about these kids. You believed poetry could change your life when he talked about it. The man who'd been pure chaos was learning to be still. Awakenings in 1990 and The Fisher King in 1991 cemented it. Williams could do serious drama, real, nuanced, heartbreaking work. He played a doctor trying to reach catatonic patients. He played a homeless man lost in delusion and grief. And here's what's remarkable. The energy was still there, but now it was serving the story instead of overwhelming it. He'd learned to control the chaos, to weaponize it, to turn it on and off. Williams wasn't just funny anymore. He was one of the best actors working. The 1990s were Robin Williams' imperial phase. He could do literally anything and audiences would follow. Hook in 1991, playing a grown-up Peter Pan who forgot how to fly. It's uneven, but Williams brings real pathos to a man who lost his imagination. Aladdin in 1992, The Genie. They recorded him riffing for hours and animated to his voice. He created a character so iconic, so perfectly Robin Williams, that Disney built an entire performance style around it. The Genie is what happens when you give Robin Williams unlimited creative freedom and a recording booth. Mrs. Doubtfire in 1993, a man so desperate to see his kids that he becomes an elderly British nanny. It should be a one-joke comedy. Instead, Williams makes you cry. The scene where he breaks character at dinner, where you see the dad underneath the prosthetics, it's devastating. He made you believe this ridiculous premise was about love. Jumanji in 1995, family adventure anchored by Williams' ability to play both whimsy and trauma. A man stuck in a board game for 26 years, emerging as a terrified child in an adult body. The Birdcage in 1996, playing flamboyantly gay in a mainstream comedy with such joy and dignity, that it changed how America saw LGBTQ characters. That takes skill and courage. And then, in 1997, Good Will Hunting. Sean Maguire, the therapist who sees through a genius kid's defenses. He won the Oscar. Finally. The 2000s were complicated for Williams. He was still working constantly. 1 Hour Photo in 2002, Insomnia in 2002, Death to Smoochie in 2002. Notice something? He started choosing darker material. A creepy photo technician, a cold-blooded murderer, a disgraced children's entertainer. Williams was exploring the shadows he'd been running from his whole career. He was brilliant in these roles, but audiences didn't always show up. People wanted the funny Robin, the warm Robin. They didn't necessarily want to see him playing broken, disturbing characters. World's Greatest Dad in 2009, an indie film where he plays a failed writer whose son dies in an embarrassing accident. It's dark, cynical, uncomfortable. And Williams is phenomenal. But it's not what made him famous. The 2010s brought some bright spots. The Night at the Museum films gave him a late career renaissance as Teddy Roosevelt. He did TV again with The Crazy Ones from 2013 to 2014, playing an advertising executive. Still funny, still energetic, but something felt different. Less manic, more tired. In August 2014, Robin Williams died by suicide. Here's what we know now. Williams had Lewy body dementia, a devastating neurological disease that causes hallucinations, paranoia, cognitive decline, depression. His widow later described the terror he was experiencing, seeing things that weren't there, losing his sense of reality, knowing something was horribly wrong but not understanding what. The chaos that had fueled his comedy, that beautiful, manic energy, wasn't just a performance choice. It was how his brain worked. And when that same brain started betraying him, when the chemistry changed, when the disease took hold, there was nowhere to hide. Williams spent 40 years making the world laugh while managing his own demons, depression, addiction, anxiety, and in the end, a disease that robbed him of the very thing that made him him, his incredible, one-of-a-kind mind.